Wow, Mr. Magician! How did you know which card I picked?
Oh, it's simple. Come closer and I'll let you in on my secret. Magicians have a special skill called...
Really? Then, what am I...
Well, first you need to relax, because I can...
Aww.
And now you're getting a little flustered. You're trying to find a way to empty... You snuck out from home today, didn't you?
You can tell?
Of course. Oh, and that's the end of my performance.
All right.
Why, hello.
Oh, why don't you...
Oh, please. You didn't believe...
I'm sure that child would beg to differ.
That was nothing more than a little trickery. That, plus the fact that he was the only kid here without his parents. You guys, on the other hand...
Wow. Got it in...
Wait, really? His warning letter's been the talk of the town, so I...
Bingo! I plan on writing... So, Lyney, what are your thoughts on this infamous... Angry?
You read his letter, right? The Phantom Weasel claims he's planning something in 3 nights' time.
Huh. What? Wait a minute.
Well, if he is, then his warning is clear. And if he's not, then the mere mention of the Weasel's name is enough to scare people off. But I've been preparing for this for a long time. I'm not about to let him ruin my big day.
Really? So what you're saying is, we might get to see a live duel between a famous magician and an infamous thief?
To be honest, I'm not sure if I'll emerge the victor. The Phantom Weasel is...
You're being far too modest, Lyney. I think you're...
Thanks for the compliment, though a lot of people liken magicians to thieves because we both have the ability to make things disappear. Allow me to demonstrate with a quick magic trick. Here, I have a flower, just an ordinary flower that was picked not long ago. Watch it carefully now. 3, 2, 1. That's the question. Therein lies the difference between us. Thieves make precious things disappear, but only magicians make them reappear. If I could now invite you all to check your club...
A surprise? Let me see! It's right there! But what an outstanding trick! Sorry, Lyney, it seems that my previous praise was...
Don't worry, I didn't take offense. I just wanted to take the opportunity to perhaps change some... Since Caesar's death, a lot of people...
I can imagine. Coming back to your trick just now, might I for example, magicians often use rainbow roses in their flower-related performances to represent passion, but you used a Lumidu spell, which, if I'm not mistaken, allude to separations.
Impressive knowledge. It's no wonder you're such a successful journalist. But I'm afraid it sounds like something I should look into, though. I'll buy my...
Well noted. In that case, this brings us to the end of our interview. I, for one, am looking forward to the final showdown. Please feel free to get in touch to update me on any further developments. Otherwise, I will of course see you at your show in 3 days' time. But let's hope that if there's nothing else, I'll be off. You've given me lots to work with here, and I've got no time to lose if I want to write that... So, Lyney, are you gonna tell us how you did that
I'm a...
Aww. Well, magicians are entitled to their secret. You feel it too, right? So itchy!
Not so itchy, then. Well, since you're so concerned, how would you like to serve as my temporary magician's assistants and help me investigate?
Magician's assistants? Oh, that sounds fun! Assistants are technically magicians, too! Also, it'll bring us one step closer to figuring out how that darn trick is done! Shall we go for it?
Excellent. Thank you for putting your... The first thing we need to look into is who Caesar really was. If he truly was the Phantom Weasel, that means that But if he wasn't the Weasel? And if we're investigating Caesar, his fiancée Gemma is a good place to start. We should make a move. Let's go and rendezvous with Lynette. Sorry, I bumped into the traveler.
It's been a while, and we're working as Lyney's temporary...
Thank you. It's good to have you helping.
So, what's the situation?
Nope. I've been here a while, and she still hasn't shown up.
How bizarre. Well, we won't get anywhere by standing around wait. Excuse me, good...
Gemma? You mean Caesar's fiancé?
I'm just trying to get a hold of her because...
Yeah, she does. Ever since Caesar passed away, she's been... I asked her what she was doing once. She said she knows he's gone and can't hear her from the grave, but...
She's been doing this ever since...
I'll bet. Caesar's reputation fell apart after his identity was revealed, so no one else visits his grave. Gemma's the only one who still thinks about him after all these years. I don't know if I'm honest. I think this is all so unfair to poor Gemma. Her fiancé was a low-life crook. He doesn't deserve someone. Anyway, all of that said, she's running later than usual today. Well, that's everything I know, I'm afraid.
All right, well, thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.
Did you hear the news? They're saying the Phantom...
You're kidding.
I don't know anymore. All sorts of news flying around. But what if? Just hypothetically, I mean...
Called it. Seriously, 10 years ago, on the day it all went down, I said to myself, you know what? This guy's been set up. The season...
Oh, please. Weren't you the one cursing his name to high heaven when the police announced the...
Wait, did I say that? I don't seem to recall.
Hello there. Sorry for disturbing you. We're actually quite interested in this topic as well, but...
You've come to the right people. Yep. He was a great magician. The best trick I ever saw him do was pop a transparent... I was right up close and didn't blink or look away once. But for the...
I saw him perform too. He always used to bring some gifts along for the kids. Sometimes he even got the kids to write their wishes down, and then...
He does...
But after he died, there were also rumors that he used the... As I'm sure you know, the Phantom Weasel would steal...
Whatever the case, now that the weasel is back, see, I bet Gemma must be pleased. If Caesar... No, speak of the devil. That's her over there. If you've got any more questions about Caesar, she's...
So that's Gemma. Wait. It looks like...
Who's asking?
Don't be afraid, It looks like you're in...
Thanks for your concern. But you didn't answer my question.
My name is Lyney.
My name's Paimon, and this...
The Weasel posted a warning letter this morning. If you knew Caesar better than anyone else. I promise you can trust us.
I never believed that he was the Weasel.
Huh. I suspected as much. Okay, so going back to...
No, nothing.
Got it. All right.
If you don't have any more questions, please leave. I want to be alone with him.
Judging by the look on her face, there's definitely something...
She's lying. She definitely knows something.
That's fair. We're just a bunch of strangers who showed up and started... In any case, I doubt we'll get any further here, so let's call it a day.
Take it easy. Quietly now. Take it easy.
Surprise!
Busted. Game's up. Time's over. Gotcha. Busted.
This may hurt a little. Allow me.
Quietly now.
Grow.
Gotcha. Take it easy.
Step on up!
Over here.
Lynette's not joining us today?
I've had her follow Gemma and see if we can make any inroads with her. They should be at a cafe right. Still, I don't think that Gemma's like. Today we'll be looking into a guy named Lorenzo, Caesar's former pupil and assistant. When Caesar passed away, all the stolen goods discovered in his home were confiscated and returned to their rightful owners. But Lorenzo was the only one privy to all. Before long, Lorenzo was the next big magician in town, his fame surpassing even that of his master, and it made him very wealthy. He's since left the magic scene. I had to pull a lot of strings, but I managed to get him to agree to a couple of drinks.
You neglected to mention that you were bringing 2 other people with you.
My apologies. These 2 are my assistants. When they heard that I was meeting with the...
Oh, forget the pleasantries, just sit.
Get a load of this guy. Forget the pleasantries, he says, but he looks pretty...
I only agreed to meet since we're both magicians.
Much obliged, sir. As it happened yesterday morning, a warning letter from the Phantom Weasel appeared on the entrance to the Opera House. I have to get to the bottom of this to ensure that my show can go ahead as planned. Naturally...
What is there to investigate? Caesar was the weasel and he's been dead for 10 years. So what if some sick creep thought it'd be funny to write a warning letter? It changes...
Please, sir, no need to get so worked up.
Possibility, it's a fact, Lyney. Look, the weasel is dead. Period. Everyone knows that, so do yourself a favor and quit this investigation. It'll lead you nowhere.
Oh, sir, my pride as a magician is what's at stake here, Lorenzo. Copycat or not, this person has thrown me the...
Your pride? Don't mince...
I want to find out the Phantom Weasel's true identity. I have to...
What would that accomplish? And what do the events of 10 years ago have to do with you, anyway? Look, you of all people shouldn't...
Uh-oh. This is...
Lorenzo? Is that? Oh, it is you! I know that big, booming voice anywhere.
Another day, I'm...
Oh, come on! You can't be all...
If I wanted your life advice, I'd ask for...
Sorry, my good sir. I don't believe I've had the pleasure.
Oh, hey! Edmondo. He and I are business pals. We worked together a bunch of times. This is your first time meeting him? Oh, he's always like this. And he wonders why he can't get a girlfriend. despite being, what, pushing 40, 30, something? Anyway.
Shut up and get out of my face. Another word out of you and you can forget about doing...
Sorry.
I think it's high time I made a move as well. If you really want to investigate this, Lyney, be my guest. But if nothing good comes of it, don't say I didn't warn you.
Well, that fell to pieces in a rather spectacular fashion. Any thoughts?
Totally. And what was all that about compensating you? He's gotta be hiding something. And not like Gem.
I think so too. We need to look into Lorenzo more. That guy Edmondo seems to know a thing or two about him.
Forget about me. This is about you.
What did you want exactly?
I got a new letter from an informant. Looks like the situation has changed again.
You okay there?
Oh, it's you guys. I said way too much back there, didn't I? Yeah, the other
So he was serious about.
Hey! Don't go prying into Lorenzo's personal.
What kind of bad?
Don't even ask. And take it from me, trouble with Lorenzo is one thing you do. That's not a good sign.
And there he goes.
Shh. I think we're being watched. Don't say anything and don't look back. Any altercation in the city will attract the guards. We... You followed us a long way. Why don't you...
So you're Lyney. And where's your sister? Save us the trouble and go fetch her.
Paimon doesn't like the tone of your voice, mister. Who sent you, huh?
Save your questions, missy. You ain't gonna need...
Looks... Now, I'm not the strongest...
Don't worry.
Now disappear!
Curse Tougher than we thought.
Vision wielders are always trouble. Intimidation ain't gonna work like it did on the lady.
Come on, let's scram!
Hey, wise guys! We ain't through with you yet! Oh, they got away! Did you catch what they said just before they left? Something about, it sounds like they just wanted to rough us up as a scare tactic. You're right. She was injured when maybe she was too scared.
Well, if that's the... Let's head back to the cafe.
Gemma?
You again.
We just ran into the men who've been through, so you...
What? Why?
Sounds like they're...
That's putting it mildly. I know them all too well. It's been 10 long years. And still, every time I try to look into Caesar's death, how do I know I can trust you?
I'm afraid I can't reveal all the details just because, you see, this is a...
Okay. How can I help you?
I've heard that Caesar used to have a magic workshop where he kept a lot of his... Do you know where it...
The Fleuve Cendre. But the place was sealed up. I also know that the Fleuve Cendre is dangerous territory. Lots of hostile...
Understood. Lynette, you...
Got it. But if I'm staying here, I'm ordering dessert.
I mean, bon appetit. But stay sharp, too.
Okay. All right. Power saving mode off. Over here! Yeah!
Take it easy. Take it easy.
If Gemma gave us the right location, then the workshop should be right nearby. Looks like these boxes are blocking the entrance. Let's shift them away first. There we go.
This was Caesar's workshop. What was that? Oh, is this one of Caesar's gadgets? Guess we must have triggered some sort of device.
Busted!
Whoa. Look. The doll in the box is glowing. There's something written on the card on this doll. Let's take a closer look. These magic boxes are moving. What do we do?
One of them looks different from the rest. Let's investigate.
Got it. We're supposed to find the box that lit up at the start, right? There should be another wish list inside. Let's keep trying.
Step on up!
That's weird. Have we reached the end already? There's nothing here. Maybe this was a wasted trip.
This place seems a little too ordinary for him. We've triggered quite a few devices on the way here. If so, then there must be more to this place than meets the eye. Maybe, aha!
A secret...
I'm a magician too, and it looks pretty big inside.
Everyone hold hands! Rest and rebuild! Yeah!
Gotcha! Busted!
Why have you stopped, Lyney?
It just looks familiar somehow. Let me check this out for a second while you guys go on. If anyone makes a major discovery...
All right, see?
Take it easy.
Wow! This book's thick as a brick! Let's take a peek and...
At one of my shows a few days ago, as a joke, I told the kid that the hat has a built-in... So I told them another white lie. The machine needs time to power up, but in the meantime, you can write your wishes down. I wound up saving very little this month, but that's not a... Two children came to talk to me after today's show. I don't know why they were out. Anyway, they said that they wanted me to teach them how to do... I told them that learning magic is very hard work. It seems like something's bothering Lorenzo lately. Surely he's not upset that I agree. I have a good feeling about those kids. They're naturally talented, and it seems they have all sorts of fantastic ideas. They wanted to call me Master, but I told them they absolutely mustn't. Any magician worth their salt could have taught them what I have. They're the geniuses here. Compared with time, I have no doubt that they could become far greater magicians than I. Gemma thinks so too. She doesn't like being... It's nearly time for me to go on tour. I once overheard them talking about their father and their mission. Sounds like their parents have other plans for them. It's only been 10 days since I first met. They're very tough, but also very cautious. And they hide things from me too. For example, that's the thing about children. Whenever I can sense that their lives have been hard, possibly even dangerous. After thinking things over, I decided to tell them a bit about how I see the world. P.S. I hope they won't find my nagging annoying. Children are so opinionated nowadays. Will it do them more harm than good for someone? P.P.S. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Children aren't interested in grand philosophies. Oh, Caesar, Caesar.
Two magic geniuses with a father and a mission, huh? Sounds a lot like he was writing about Lyney and Lynette. So did they meet?
Hold that thought.
Fishy?
All in good time. First, the magician slots themselves into a magic box in full view of the audience. The box is then suspended high in the air. At this point, a dummy will fall out of the box, but it looks real enough. Meanwhile, the real magician, who has by now blended into the crowd, waits for a good moment to make their appearance and... Oh no! Is that me?
Very vivid description.
The audience's gaze then turns to the magician, and by the time... Of course, that's just how I think the process should work, theoretically. The inventor of this trick never performed it successfully. He fell right to the ground from the highest point of the opera house. And no one else has ever attempted this trick since. My understanding of how it works is just based on what it could...
So Caesar's famous high-altitude Paimon was about to say how cool it would have been to see it in person, but... Wait a second. So if a dummy's supposed to drop...
Glad you asked. This box right here is the one that Caesar constructed himself to use in the performance. And it's not as simple as it looks. Once the magician's inside, and the box is lifted up into the air, the audience is... From where they're standing, they have a clear view of the front, sides, and bottom. But the back and the top are... At this point, the magician presses a button inside the box. He then escapes through this trapdoor onto the opera house roof, waits for the dummy to fall and distract the audience, and quietly returns to ground level.
That's way simpler than Paimon imagined.
Well, there's a little more to it than that, of course. The hardest, there's the falling dummy, the miraculous reappearance, the pompous performing. Maybe the magician would even have themselves tied up before it. Many days and nights of careful research and painstaking practice would have gone into this, all culminating in a performance just a few minutes long. Caesar was a highly accomplished magician.
So, how did it go so wrong?
I can make a pretty... I looked into the case files. The magic box Caesar was using at the time of his death had the secret button I mentioned positioned on the right-hand side.
Okay.
But here's the strange thing. Most of the devices in this workshop have the mechanism on the left-hand side, including this box right here. Which leads me to believe that Caesar was in fact because a magician can't afford to have their most basic habits stand out too much. But the essence of magic is getting people to believe a lie. If even the truth raises eyebrows, the falsehoods become all the more difficult to mask. And so, Caesar trained himself to use his right hand to align with his audience's expectations. But in his most stressful and nerve-wracking moments, and when no one was watching, reflex would kick in and he'd use his left hand. Exactly. I think that's likely what happened. Caesar would have been under a lot of time pressure during the escape. He'd have had mere seconds to open the hidden compartment, retrieve the dummy, then open the secret door and make a swift escape. But I'm sure he was confident. He would have rehearsed countless So he opened the compartment, took out the dummy, checked everything was in order, and then, much like when you reach for your keys but find your pocket empty, instinctively, his left hand would keep feeling around for the missing button, maybe for another. With the stakes being as high as they were, just a 2-second delay cost him everything.
When in reality, someone switched the boxes. But how would they be able to make the switch without being noticed? That would be difficult.
It would have to have been someone who knew that he was left-handed, and who could move his props around without arousing suspicion. Isn't that right?
You just couldn't let sleeping dogs lie, could you? There's not a lot of people who'd go to all this trouble for some magician who died 10 years ago. I didn't want to have to do this, you know. But I gave you your chance. I hoped you'd do—
You mean Gemma?
Yes, although however stubborn she might be, she was never much of a liability, which is why you can't leave this—
Things are about to get dicey. Quietly now.
Had enough yet, Loren? I think it's high time you started talking.
If I had a Mora for every time you've said that man's name. He was just an amateur who did cheap tricks for gullible children. I was the one who made—
So I was jealous.
Jealousy. He poured everything into his street performances and his stupid tours like it was just a hobby to him. But the people loved him, didn't they? Oh, how they looked up to him. Amazing. Yeah, so amazing that he was completely broke. Every other apprentice was living it up at their master's expense, but no, not me. I put in all the work, mastered all the skills, and it brought me nothing more than the life I already had. He forbade me from using magic to trick people out of their Mora. And with his reputation in Fontaine, it was too risky for me to go it alone. As long as he was alive, if I dabbled, I had to kill him.
And this was your—
It was reason enough. What other—
Well, I was under the impression that there might have been other factors at play.
In love with Gemma.
Guess I was wrong about that then.
I am. Caesar was so strict with me. I never bought into any of that. I was more interested in the practical value of magic.
Oh, yeah! Charlotte told us.
That's just how it looked from the outside. What would any thief want with second-rate loot? I stole cheap things as a way of practicing my craft. It was other people's overactive imaginations that conjured up the preposterous image they then—
So, that's the story, huh?
What choice do I have? You're a pack of wolves, and you've got me between your jaw. So be it. I've enjoyed power and wealth for the last 10 years. The likes of which...
Very well. Traveler, Paimon, keep an eye on Lorenzo for me.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
Lyney has told me the whole story. Lorenzo, do you confess to the murder of
Look who... What kind of disciple murders their own master? I hope it was worth it.
Looks like it's all over. What should we do next, Lyney? Should we...
Let's rendezvous with Lynette and Gemma first.
Good point! We should go tell...
Ah, you're back. You were so quick. I've only just finished my third dessert.
Your third? Lynette, come on,
It's fine. I'll shift to exercise mode and jog off the excess sugar.
That's besides the point.
Did everything go okay?
Of course! Lorenzo was no match for...
Gosh, that's amazing. I'm sorry, I still didn't know if I could trust... I had my suspicions about Lorenzo, but
It's okay, we understand. He did threat, but you don't need to be scared anymore. Everything...
Sorry. My emotions are all over the place right now. I've been waiting for this day to come for so long. I always wanted to report Lorenzo. He took all of Caesar's property, which I found suspicious. But I had people watching me all the time, so I couldn't risk looking into it. I was so afraid. I was scared he'd do something terrible to me, and then no one would be left to visit Caesar's grave. So I never had the courage to speak out. Thank you all.
Thank you all for clearing Caesar's name. I never would have guessed that Lorenzo was the real Phantom Weasel. He never showed any signs that there were problems between him and... and to think that lowlife's been living life to the fullest all this time. At least his soul can finally rest in peace now.
If only I'd realized before it was too late.
Don't blame yourself, Gemma.
Yeah, you still have the rest of...
Cheer up, Gemma. My brother's doing a magic show at the Opera House tomorrow evening. Would you like to come along? It might raise your spirit. This show will be a special one. We're holding it in Caesar's honor.
In Caesar's honor? Really? Oh, thank you. I'll be there.
Great. We'll see you tomorrow evening.
Don't worry, we'll be there. No way are we gonna... Wait. Paimon feels like we're forgetting something. Oh yeah, Caesar's diary! We never found out if the two kids Caesar taught magic to were Lyney and Lynette or not. Lyney changed the topic back in the workshop, so we didn't get a chance to bring it up. Oh well. Guess we'll just have to ask Lyney tomorrow evening.
Add Thank you for completing. Add
Good roll. All right, maybe I'll take one more day off and knock out the rest of the dark ones and... Up to it. Take it easy.
Surprise!
Paimon's excited to see another of Lyney's magic shows! Wait. Lynette, shouldn't you be on stage by now?
Not this time. My brother's going solo today, so I'll be watching with you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody's ready because the show is about to begin. The great magician Lyney has prepared a spectacular show for us all tonight.
Wow! A new trick!
Thank you all so much for coming. Now, prepare to join me on a journey through the mystical and miraculous.
Exciting stuff, isn't it?
Yes, it's just... It reminds me of him.
No wonder. Caesar was a famous magician too. So, how did you two first meet, Gemma?
Well, I was out on the street once, and I saw him performing for little children. Children love magic, because they're willing to believe in things that can't be rationally explained. Caesar had this amazing way of bringing them into a dreamlike world. And somehow, I felt drawn to him too. So I went up and asked him to do a trick for me.
Aw, that sounds so romantic. What trick did he do?
It was with a flower. He took it in his hand, snapped his fingers, and it magically appeared on my head. I was so happy that day. No one had ever given me a flower before that.
Oh, that's so cute!
Is that right? Then I suppose he's a romantic at heart, just like Caesar. After all, you never know.
That's right. Paimon doesn't really know how to comfort you, but...
Right. Yes, you can breathe easy now. Phantom Weasel.
See? Even Lynette says... Wait, what? The Phantom Weasel? Lorenzo escaped? Where is he?
What do you...
As Lyney once said, a performer's job is to commit fully to their role and put on a flawless performance for their audience. But once the bag of tricks is empty and the curtain falls, it's time to end the show. The spotlight is no place for someone with no more cards up their sleeve. It's been 10 years, Gemma. Aren't you tired of the grieving widow act? I think it's time to put an end to it.
What are you talking about? Traveler, Paimon doesn't like where this is going.
Ladies, there will now be a brief intermission, after which Lyney will... The final performance will take place outside of the Opera House, so please make your way outside in a
The Phantom Weasel never did like public places, did they? Don't worry, this place will be quiet soon. Let's...
Over.
Dear me, this is awkward, isn't it? And unfortunately, I'm all out of gadgets, so I'm afraid this is a big mistake for a magician to make. But
Lyney? Lynette accused Gemma of being the real Phantom...
all in good time. Magicians are good at guessing what people are thinking.
Really?
Let's go back to the very beginning. A decade ago, when the Phantom Weasel was terrorizing the court of Fontaine. But as her infamy grew, so did the readiness of the police, and her opportunities to act became ever fewer. Of course, she could not simply take this lying down, and before long, she found her ticket to freedom. After weighing her options, she set her sights on a renowned magician, Caesar. After all, magic and theft shared an...
So...
Being the master deceiver she was, the Weasel easily earned Caesar's trust. Now, all that remained was to frame him for her countless crimes. But as she was considering how to make her move, she noticed Caesar's aggrieved pupil, and a new thought entered her mind. Maybe I don't need to get my hands dirty after all. At her encouragement, Lorenzo tampered with Caesar's magic box, causing him to fall to his death. Afterwards, Lorenzo seized his master's property, and the weasel set about tarnishing Caesar's reputation. 2 co-conspirators committed the perfect crime.
But I just have one question. You seem to think that I am the villain in this tale. What's brought this on, Lyney? Is it something that Lorenzo said?
Don't worry, Lorenzo said nothing at all. But I never believed that he was the weasel, and in fact, my investigation only made me more certain of that. He was too forthcoming with his confession, as if there was something else he was trying to hide.
How disappointing. So you'd sooner trust Lorenzo than me? Even without a shred of evidence?
A magician is an expert at playing the audience to get the result they want. With a little help from Lorenzo, you put on a very convincing performance. The lovesick fiancé Caesar was maligned and hated by all for 10 years, but you? Who would suspect for 1 second that the lovely young lady always seemed—
Wait, so you mean... But why would Lorenzo agree to that? And why didn't he sell her out?
Yes, why indeed? Maybe Gemma herself could enlighten us on that question.
Well, Lyney, if you're so confident in having killed Caesar with his own hands, Lorenzo was plagued by overwhelming guilt. Revealing the Phantom Weasel's true identity would serve no purpose. But if the Weasel remained free, then she could take care of Lorenzo's loved one.
An excellent answer.
Is that right? Well, don't let me bore you. If you'd care to change the topic to something more interesting.
As a matter of fact, there's one thing I'd really like. Why would the real weasel have targeted things that only have value to other people?
Of course. After all, if I had to guess, I would say that the real weasel left to fend for herself after her parents died young. She'd scrounge waste paper from garbage bins to draw on, using twigs and dirt for lack of ink and pen. She'd sew ugly rag dolls from whatever scrap material she could get her hands on. This was her only source of happiness in life. But it was all she needed. Once again, she was betrayed. And this time, everything was taken from her. She felt like life was a miry pit that dragged her further down the more she struggled to escape. This was a fate too cruel for anyone to bear. Her pain became a breeding ground. I detest the happiness of others. In all its forms alike, I will rob them of everything they hold to be good and true. And it will fill the void in my soul.
That's some pretty heavy stuff.
Now it all makes sense.
Does this story satisfy?
Yes, it is quite to my tastes.
Huh. That's right, because without that, none of this...
She didn't write the letter.
After 10 long years, I'd hoped that the Phantom Weasel would be consigned to the history books by now. But it seems like someone still wasn't ready to let her finally be at peace, Lyney. Or should I call you the Phantom Copycat now? You were the one who posted—
Very sharp, Phantom Weasel. Well, no need for me to be coy about it. The most straightforward way to change the public's impression of Caesar was to force the Weasel to show themselves.
That's it?
Of course we did. We made it quite clear in the letter, I believe. I shall take from you that which you hold most dear, just as—
10 years ago? You mean— wait. Oh, I get it. You were those 2 obnoxious kids. He taught you magic back then, didn't he? For what, 10—
We remember all our debts, however great. 10 years ago, Caesar's reputation was torn to shreds, and his legacy was thrown out. But we did not forget.
And? What exactly did you take from me?
Free? Caesar once told me that even though the world is filled, I think that applies to you too. Truth can take many forms. Life took many things from you, and those wounds never healed. when they ached unbearably in the dead of...
What are you trying to...
I'm saying that for the last 10 years, you've been living a rather uneventful life. Perhaps that's because you found something other than a life. Back to Lorenzo for a second. He murdered his own master, played along with your act, and took pain. He knew who you were and the things you'd done, and despite that, he was willing to give everything up for your sake. You're more than just accomplices in murder. You're the only real friends each other has. But that truth is gone now. And I guarantee...
Congratulations on your freedom, Gemma.
Your freedom will cost you dearly. From now on, you'll be all alone in a world full of lies and falsehood.
Gather round, one and all. The time has now come for the amazing Lyney to perform his final act in tonight's show. I'm sure you're all wondering what he has planned for the grand finale.
A high-altitude escape?
I'm sure you all remember the magician Caesar. This was the very trick that led to his fatal fall, after which we have now learned that Caesar was wrongly accused, and that
Guess that's my cue to leave. Whew. Traveler, Paimon, I hope you enjoy the rest of the show. There may be a lot of people watching tonight, but you alone are my true witnesses.
Lyney, wait. You two hid a lot from Caesar. He went to his grave without ever knowing your secrets. So you don't have to tell lies to end up isolated and alone. One day, you'll end up exactly...
You're wrong. I'm nothing like you.
So,
Like Lyney said, when you're ready, let's head outside and watch the show.
But what about Gemma?
She'll figure out what's best for her soon enough. Oh, and if you'd like to see Lyney after the show, you know where he'll be. The usual.
All right. Well, let's...
Surprise!
Magic should be mysterious, surprising, and defy logic. Magic is hard work. Every single movement has to be practiced thousands of times.
It's alright. We're used to that.
We're sorry. You've taught us so much, but we can't tell you the whole truth.
It's okay. Do you still remember what I told you? This world is full of lies and falsehoods. I only hope that one day, you can find your own truth.
What about you? Have you found your truth?
Magic is my truth. I want to perform a magic trick so great that people will always think of me when they talk about it. For a magician, what greater honor could there be?
Look! Behold! Lyney is sealed inside the box. Will he manage to escape? 10 years ago, Caesar attempted this very trick, and it was at this precise moment that...
Watch out!
Mysterious. Surprising. And logic-defying. Isn't that right? This honor belongs to you, Caesar. I'm just sorry it's a little late.
falling, and the next, he turned into flowers.
How could he possibly have done that?
How mysterious. I didn't blink once. He just vanished, right in front of my eyes.
What a heart-stopping magic show! That Caesar's name has finally been cleared, and Fontaine's new star magician Lyney has fulfilled a wish on his behalf. Oh, I couldn't ask for a better grand finale. It will make a great headline for the Steambird tomorrow, even if I do say so myself.
Looks like everyone really loved Lyney's grand finale. Paimon doesn't see Lyney anywhere. Oh, Lynette said he'd be waiting for us at the usual hunt. Oh, you mean the... Yeah, that's probably it. This whole magic show kinda seemed like Lyney's way of saying, all right, let's go look for...
Take it easy.
Lyney! There you are. Are you all right? Paimon was scared to death.
Magic is a performance art. A magician has to get creative to keep the audience. I was honestly a little nervous during the live performance. The thought of falling, sometimes, I can't help. Did he regret taking Gemma and Lorenzo on? Or did he believe that it was his own slip-up right until the end?
You know, Paimon's been wanting to ask you about something ever since...
After I joined the House of the Hearth. I told you about my past before, remember? As a young boy, but I quickly realized that observation alone could only get me so far. What I needed to learn how to improve my sleight of hand, hone my we were gifted enough that we'd made some progress by ourselves. But with...
So that's why you thought...
Yes. We figured there was no harm in it. In all, we only spent 10 short days together, but for instance, when he asked why I wanted... But in truth, there was already a lot more to the story by then. After being taken in by an aristocrat for our magic talent, then betrayed soon after, what amazed me was how the lie escaped my lips even as I was hesitant. Trust is a beautiful thing.
Lyney...
Still worried about the way I feel? But don't worry, I'm used to it now. From the mansions of the elite to the House of the... After Caesar went on tour, we became busy with our missions. The next we heard of him was that that night, I remembered his smile. To keep secrets is to put up walls. The longer you keep them up, the less you let people in. Then, one day, you look around and realize your life is like an empty auditorium after you only realize how much someone really meant to you when you lose them completely. That's why I was so confident this would hurt Gemma. Because I felt it for myself.
Yeah, sure. We've had to say our fair share of goodbyes during our journey, too. But delicious food, fun toys, and the traveler by my side. Paimon just needs to focus on, you know, Traveler. Doesn't that kinda make you Paimon's truth?
Exactly. It's the same for me and Lynette. We are the truest thing each other has. Life has taken plenty from us, like it did from Gemma. But at least it left us with each other. That's what gave us the strength to get... That's why the darkness never consumed me, and why it never will. Maybe we live in the shadows too. All right. Time to lighten this
It was amazing! Paimon just wishes we hadn't been so distracted with the Gemma situation. Lyney,
Whoa, that's a bit of a tall order, I'm afraid. The show's just finished, so my sleeves are decidedly card-free right now.
aw, come on! Surely you can think of something. The Lyney Paimon knows can do anything if he puts his mind to it.
Oh, all right then. I'll give it a go, but only because it's you. Watch closely. I have a flower in my hand.
You liar! There's nothing in your hand! We ain't go-
Huh? My goodness, you're right.
3?
Now, have another look around. Maybe the flowers appeared.
Really? Let's see. Wow, there it is! Oh, but more importantly, Paimon hasn't...
Well, if you want to learn magic. Since you asked so nicely, I'll share one little tip with you. Namely, the student of magic.
Is that it?
Ah, look at the time. We shouldn't linger here too long. Thanks again for coming to see my I look forward to...
Shall we head back now too? Oh, Paimon can't wait to Let's head to the Steambird's office.
I got a new letter from an informant. Looks like the situation has changed again. Good roll. All right, maybe I'll take one more day off and knock out the rest of the work once I'm feeling up to it. Navigating the world as a whole. A lot easier. With a few different. Identity. choose from. Need me to come up with some for...
Hi, this is Arthur.
I'm very sorry, Charlotte, but my sister and I are quite busy today. I'm afraid—
Oh, please, Lyney, I'll only take a moment. Huh? What's happening here? I spent all night writing my piece about the Phantom Weasel, and it was but just as dawn broke, I suddenly received news that Caesar's fiancée, Gemma, had—
That was quick.
Too late, bro. That was quick, you say? It sounds like a— Aha! My instincts did not lead me astray.
Maybe watching my high-altitude escape trick reminded her of a better time with Caesar, and she could no longer ignore—
Huh. Okay, then. Wait, no, there must be more to— Oh, I remember now! You and Gemma were in quickfire question. Where did you all go?
Oh, we went to the cemetery and Lyney did a Actually, glad you mentioned it, because that reminds Paimon. Guess what? Lyney's—
What? I don't recall ever having received a rainbow rose from you myself. Is this supposed to mean that they're more important to you than your own sister?
No,
What the— This is getting pretty awkward. What do we do, Traveler?
Seems like this interview wasn't meant to be. Well, never mind. There's always next time. Forgive my persistence, but when there's explosive news waiting to be found, I can't turn away. Apparently, one of the things she said to the guards was that her final wish is to see Lorenzo one last time. There's clearly a web of complicated relationships there. Can't blame me for being curious. All right, I guess I'll leave you to continue the rest of your conversation in peace. Bye for now.
Lynette? Paimon didn't mean to—
Don't worry, I wasn't angry. I was just trying to distract her.
Oh, really?
Phew. You and me both, Paimon.
Please, take good care of that rainbow. I'd be really upset if you lost it.